seems to be like really, really beautiful.
Baby, come here.
Yeah.
Relax, dude.
Good boy.
Relax, buddy. Relax.
There we go. See, a little better. A little better. There we go. Tire yourself out, Lilo. Go ahead. Banjo.
So let's start off by separating these two in different rooms and just moving around.
Okay. Should we just put Lilo outside? Because she's gonna eat something. Good girl. Hey, come on. We're gonna go outside. Lilo, come here. Come on. We're gonna go outside. Banjo.
Banjo.
Yeah, we put him in your room.
Banjo, come here.
Excuse me.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
Hi, puppy. So you can kind of see even in that little instance, right? As soon as this one gets out, this one wants to chase and follow it. So you have one pup that is really easily influenced by the other pup. And let's see what this is.
Hey. Stay. 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 Come here. Marlo, come here. Marlo. Sit back. Come here. Sit. Hey. Good girl. Marlo, come. Zoomies. Look at me. Sit.
And you have this
Sit.
one that is more so just full of excitement and
Yeah,
curious.
she's 11 months old.
So what ends up happening is if they're in the crate, and that's also another reason why they stop barking when I go up next to it. Most of the time pups are apprehensive until they can smell or meet somebody. So when I step towards this crate here with this pup, I think you said Lilo, gave them an opportunity to smell and get to know me a little bit more. And same with this one. And then just being stuck in that area, not being able to out, kind of like compresses all of that energy and excitement without any release for it. And so now that you've been able to release it, it just kind of calms itself down. So in breeding situations, I would probably just have this one meet the other person outside so they can smell them and then come in, get that energy out and run
this
around.
one? Marlo?
Instead of creating it up first, because
Okay.
it's just gonna cause extra energy buildup for this little one.
Marlo, come here. She's thirsty. She's thirsty.
All right, so now that kind of been able to meet her a little bit and calm everything down.
Good girl.
And kind of see that she's really not too apprehensive of the situation at all. Let's go ahead and swap her out with Lilo.
Okay. Come here. Sit. Good baby. No, come here. Sit. Mm-mm. Good girl.
You guys normally get a lot of visitors or no?
No.
It's understandable.
The ones that visit, it's kind of the same ones, like my mom. And
So they get used to them pretty quick?
Yeah.
yeah.
I take care of them
Alright.
during the day when Liz is back to work.
Okay.
So they're very used to me.
That's understandable.
And they still get excited to see me, but they calm down pretty quickly.
Like my friends and everything, they're fine with them.
That's good. Yeah, usually if they don't meet new people on a constant basis, then it's more of an event than anything else. I have a friend that always has new people coming in and out of his place for work and everything, and so his pup is just completely oblivious to new people coming and going and things
Good
like
girl.
that.
Can you say hi nicely?
Lilo.
I know you hear Banjo. You want to go sit with him? Good girl. Good girl. Sit.
So this one is mostly just that excitement as well. Even more so just interested in the treats than the person more than anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely sounds like her. It's raining outside. Or is it? Is that a hard rain or?
It goes on and on.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Okay, now let's go ahead and swap her out for, what's the white one's name?
Banjo,
Banjo.
would you sit in there with her to make sure she doesn't eat anything?
Yeah.
Lilo, come here, baby. Go in here. Come on. Go lay on the bed. Come here, Banjo. Lilo, stay. Yeah. Banjo, come here. It's okay. Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi.
So this one is definitely more apprehensive, less curious and excited. So generally if you're gonna have any behavior issues, it'll just stem from reacting out of uncertainty. So more so than anything else, it'd be about getting this one comfortable with either the stranger or the situation and keeping things calm, because what ends up happening is when they're already kind of more on the negative side of that neutral scale because they're unsure or they're apprehensive of a situation, all it takes is sometimes even a hairpin trigger to knock it negative and you get those reactions. Like when I move closer towards their space here, Banjo's space, you can kind of hear him or her.
Him.
You can kind of hear him growling a little bit, and usually that's just a normal verbal way for them to communicate that they're uncomfortable with the situation and that they're requesting space.
Okay.
So usually in those situations, you'll want to pay more attention to how Banjo is actually feeling and reacting, if they're tense or not. especially if they're growling or if they're freezing. And instead of like yelling at them for growling or something like that, or trying to redirect them, redirect whoever is also
Okay.
causing that insecurity would be easier. Like you can want to try to pretty much do both, because if you just do one, then it's not really helping to alleviate the situation as quickly. And usually it's a lot easier for people to communicate too, and
Right.
especially depending on how far along he is on his fixation or his apprehensiveness. You can kind of tell it's harder to redirect him or
Right.
get his attention off at all, because he's already kind of fixated and focused on what's making him uncomfortable. So that's why sometimes instead of working on him just alone, work on whatever's making him uncomfortable.
Okay.
Okay. So, what did you guys want me to evaluate? You'll have to remind me, because it's been a while now.
So the three of them got into a fight.
Okay.
About what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
3 weeks ago. I don't know if you saw like the bulge on Lilo's neck. That's a fluid sac right now. We're still. So pretty much what has been happening, it's never happened without us here, is Marlo, the small one, will annoy Lilo. And then Lilo, I don't know if it's in like a dominance form or whatever, pretty much like pins her down and like has this gut-wrenching growl, but never actually bites her. And then it riles Banjo up. I don't know if it worries him or whatever. So then he grabs Lilo by the neck to try to pull her off of Marlo.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So then when it happened, I was in Florida on work. He was over at his mom's house, which is right across the road, and we have a fence back in the backyard, and we'll put him outside just to leave him out for an hour or whatever. They've never fought outside before, and then that day they did. And what it seems like, because Lilo had the most trauma, is he finished it by pulling her off of him, doing what he could, because Marlo came out pretty much unscathed. And there's no way she would have been able to do that to Lilo. So, he played like protector, I guess, in that, but they've had no apprehension like towards each other really since. And I'm full-time at home until the end of this month, and then while he's at work, his mom helps us with him, which is why she's here as well. But it's been like doggy boot camp here, so I've seen a lot of progress in about 3 weeks, but it's just to like get clarity on one, like, do they hate each other, or is it just like Marlo's still really, really young?
I'm gonna grab Marlo.
Yeah,
it's like
raining
pouring outside.
Like Marlo turns 1 next month. Lilo turns 2 April 30th. He's 3, so it's like they're all still really young, and we do live in a small space. So it's like, how can we create boundaries for all of them? We are planning on building. Hi, I know it's raining outside. Mommy's so sorry. Leave Lilo in there, babe.
No, I'm grabbing a towel.
Oh, okay.
She was inside of the tree.
Oh yeah, the little duck in the tree. I'm sorry, baby. But just like, because I've noticed like, so her and Lilo, this is the other thing that confuses me, is her and Lilo, when I called beforehand to, I forget her name, who I spoke with, but she said, like, you know, she could be battling for dominance, like, you know, both females, whatever. They're both fixed. But the thing that blows my mind is 90% of the time, they're like best friends. They snuggle on the couch together, everything like that. So what I've been doing recently is I don't let Marlo directly up against Lilo. I have her create the space to just like give them their own boundaries, whatever. And I've been focusing a lot on Lilo directly in the training, just to like learn how to just walk away from Marlo, which she's been doing a good job with. So I guess it's just like, how can we do even better?
The main thing to one more question is, what is their social upbringing like outside of just this pack?
Right. So
what kind of like experiences have they had being around other dogs, being around puppies and things like that?
So all of them are rescues. Marlo's the only one that we have been her only home. So this one I got in Georgia when he was 11 months old. He was found at an abandoned home with 2 other female dogs. And he's always socialized really, really well with other dogs. He's never met a dog that he wasn't good with. He's been to dog parks. He's, been very, very good with other dogs. Lilo, we found when she was 6 months old in the middle of the highway in Florida. Don't know anything about her background because we found her. They think that maybe she had either a pregnancy or a false pregnancy. But she came in with when we brought her into the apartment, her and Banjo connected automatically, bonded pretty well. Good girl, be gentle. And we took her to dog parks too. I started by herself, and then I would take Banjo and Lilo to dog parks together. All the time, they did very good. Never got in any fights, never growled at dogs, nothing. This one has also been to her fair share of dog parks. Now, I work in baseball, so I'm in Salisbury, Maryland for 7 months out of the year. She was with me last year during season, so during those crucial young puppy months, she was not with these two. And then she was brought back here in September, so they've been living together since September. She definitely got used to being head dog because my parents, who I was living with, had an older dog and he just left her alone, so she did get kind of used to that. But yeah.
Okay. So, from what I see so far from their interactions and everything, it's, wouldn't really say that it's any kind of dominance or there's really no pecking order issue. The main thing is, especially if the young puppy was with you during the development stages instead of among peers, usually with puppies they learn their boundaries by playing with one another. Usually if they're too rough, they'll yelp. Also their mothers, and usually the mothers will step in to help create that space for them when things get too out of hand. And so what ends up happening is, because it sounds like Lilo is just trying to correct this one since there's no follow through, and then there's also no after aggression afterwards to push in towards. So it's probably just a correction, maybe an overcorrection on her part, because this one probably ignored all the other corrections beforehand that she was trying to give, because she doesn't have those social skills to listen, and also she just might be too energetic and not be picking up the communication signals.
Yeah.
And so it gets to that point. It's like if you're trying to communicate with somebody, right, and they're not listening to you, you end up getting frustrated, you get louder, things like that. And so she got so loud that it unnerved this one into kind of more that defensive, protective mode that they're in. And that's probably what caused the escalation. And that's the only thing that I can really think about without having been there, but just seeing their behaviors and just knowing what I know from you guys.
Okay.
So.
Do you want us to bring Lilo out here with them, or?
Let me see here. I'm gonna switch cameras because. Yeah, go ahead and separate this one off.
Marlo, stop. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead and separate Marlo from Lilo.
Lilo, come here. Marlo, stop. I know. Sit. Sit. Lilo, hey, sit. Good girl.
So at least you have one slightly lower energy pup and you have two high energy pups. The only problem, obviously, that I could tell is Marlo is the best at listening.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Sit.
And if she's not very good with listening to control herself with you, then she's probably not very good with listening to control herself with Lilo. And she's probably not going to be able to control herself at all. And so that's where the escalations can occur. Because even if they're doing well together, because they kind of have both high energy, you need one dog to at least have the social skills or the ability to downshift in situations. What ends up happening sometimes with pups is you have both that kind of go, then one of them accidentally annoys another to that point where they escalate.
Right.
and the other one doesn't listen to that signal to de-escalate, and then they might actually escalate too because now they're getting defensive or they take the correction in like the wrong way. Which doesn't sound like this one, but it sounds like he's kind of stepping in at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So what you really need, instead of separating them, and this is another reason why you'll want to try to get the muzzle on, is because with a lot of the successes that I've had in situations like this, you actually have to do the opposite. Instead of separating them, you have to have them engage in more play, and you have to be there to referee with them more.
Okay.
Now, it's going to be a hard balance because you don't always want to step in on the first engagement.
Right.
You want them to be able to learn their social skills and to listen to one another, but kind of like a referee in like a fight, if one person takes a hit and the other one looks like they're getting overwhelmed or anything, that's when you step in to kind of, calm the situation down, separate the two, and then let it back in after they calm down.
Okay.
So go ahead and put a leash on Marlo too.
We have this one from the vet. I think the other one's still at your mom's. She just slides it on the choker. Come here. Sit. What is that? Did you pee a little bit? That's okay. That's okay. Marlo, down. Good job. Don't drink that. That's gross.
So go ahead and let both leashes loose and let this one interact.
So they don't move it.
Go ahead and separate them out.
Hey, drop it. Good girl. Sit. Hey, good girl.
Good.
Sit. Good girl. Wait. Wait. Good girl.
Okay, and then again. If you have an actual tug toy or that they can play with.
I haven't found one yet that they can't eat. So my mother-in-law actually just bought the Kong one, so that'll come in at some point.
Go ahead and separate them.
Alright, hey, look at me, Marlo, drop, sit, Marlo, sit, good girl, stay. Good girl.
And then release. Then release.
Alright, look at me. Marlo. Hey, look at me. Sit. Sit. Lilo. Come here. Come here. Come here. Sit. Lilo, sit.
Another issue would also be because this one's also used to this one's mannerisms and sounds and doesn't get startled as easily or at all. It'd be really hard for them to even tell if they're correcting them or if things are even escalating too.
Okay.
And if this one can't pick up on any of those signals, and you can kind of see how quickly things can escalate from there. That's why you're going to have to really micromanage them until they learn to do it themselves. Like I said, it'd be a lot safer to do once you have muzzles on, because you're going to want them to be able to reach that threshold when they're actually about to peak and still be able to separate them, and you can only do that safely if you have that net in place. Can I show you what she does when I show her the muzzle and stuff? Sure. Because we can get them on her and on Banjo. Mm-hmm. Banjo we gotta get the sizing right because he can knock his off.
But she's the only one that is going to take a little longer. Really, love. Sit. Sit. Good. That's it. Come here. Sit. Come here. I know you heard Banjo. Come here. Lilo, come. Sit.
Go ahead and hold Milo for us if you can.
Sit. Come here. Sit. Yeah. Fun toy. Sit. Lilo, come. Hey. Sit. Okay.
Go ahead and take off the
Okay,
leash.
yeah, I was gonna see if I could take the leash off. Come here.
And use that as a lure to get him to put his muzzle through, to get his muzzle through the muzzle.
Come here, Snoopy.
So kind of like,
Hey, look at me. Come here. Lilo, come.
kind of like the bait to bag it for it.
Lilo. Lilo. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Hey. Lilo.
Since this one more so wants to play, don't make it so structured. Just act like you're gonna play with her with the leash or another toy or something, and then use that to kind of lure her muzzle into there.
Good girl. Good girl. Ready? Oh, what was that? Come here. Sit. Ready? I don't really understand why. Like what?
Yeah, you got it. Just keep trying. It's gonna be difficult because this is gonna be smaller.
Yeah.
But you have the idea. You just want to put the target that she wants to put her mouth on behind the muzzle, so she puts her head through.
Give me. Give me. Good.
And
Sit.
then you release it.
Sit. Or lay. You're tired. Gentle.
Yeah, so at that moment, you can also have a treat too and try to lure her the same way. So if she's expecting the treat, yep, there you go. Perfect.
Good girl.
There you go.
Good girl. Try again.
Yep.
Good girl. See?
Good.
I know. Yep. Good girl. Wow. Sit.
Now you just want to get through the habit and routine of her only getting treats or something when she puts her muzzle through it.
Okay.
So you can incorporate that. Yep.
Good girl here.
Because she's pulling back, don't push the muzzle forward. Because you're going to end up causing more apprehension and slowing down the process. We want her to feel like it's...
No. Sit. Sit.
Perfect.
Girl.
Good.
Very good girl. Come here. Can you do it again? Come here. Sit. That's your pee. Sit. Good girl. Right here. Good girl. Ooh. There you go. Good girl.
Sometimes also what'll work well for me is having something of an extended treat. Like sometimes I've used like peanut butter on a spoon.
Okay.
So that way she can lick and have something on there longer.
Okay.
Or like a chew bone or something as well. So that way it's not just instantaneous, but you can kind of sustain it for a little bit.
Lilo, come here. I got some almond butter we can try that with. Come here. Oh,
You can put some on the end of the spoon or the bone or whatnot.
We're going to get a spoon of almond butter. Try it again.
So something else that you practice with this little one outside of the engaging and disengaging is self-control and her own understandable. If you can get a couple of treats from her in a moment, I'll show you how we can work with this one controlling themselves as opposed to us having to control them. Perfect. There you go. Good. Perfect.
Very good. Here,
Give me some treats.
just jealous about mom and brother.
So I'll hold the leash for you.
Sit.
Alright, go ahead and pull her back in so we can put the leash back on real quick.
Sit.
And relay that back up.
Good girl. Very good girl. Sit. Good girl.
No, how you did
Good
this.
girl.
Just sleeps.
Yeah.
Good girl. Right here. No, sit. Come here. Over here. Lilo. Sit. No. Sit.
And now we'll practice over here to make it a little bit easier too. So we want to try to have, or over here, but we want to have a little bit more distance and space.
Good girl. Very good girl.
Go ahead and show this one that you have some treats and try to get her attention.
Sit.
Come here. Alright, you're good. Wait. Good. Good. Wait. Wait. Good.
Sit.
Good. Oh.
No.
Wait. Wait.
Marla.
Good. Wait. Very good. There you go. Now give a treat. Good. Okay. Wait. Wait. Go ahead and try to get her attention again.
Marla. Sit.
Good.
Good. Pause. Pause. Usually should be done. Marla.
It'll be easier without the distractions at first, but you'll want to work through distractions anyways. So now this time when she's thinking about going, just ask her to wait. And then as soon as she pays attention to you and waits,
Give her one.
yep. So I'll hold on to this because I don't want to hold her back the whole time, right? I want her to do it, but I'll spot her right there. So like she wants to move, ask her to wait.
Wait.
Perfect. And
Wait.
go ahead and get in front of her so she can pay attention to you a bit more. There you go. Perfect.
Good. Good girl. Good girl. Wait. Marla. Good girl. Good girl.
Now this time as she comes in or she thinks she's about to move, reinforce the wait and get her attention for the treat. So, wait a minute.
What?
Yep, so go ahead and reinforce again.
Marla.
Good.
Girl.
There you go.
Good girl.
Good, wait. Okay, so go ahead and ask
Wait.
her.
Wait.
Good.
Lilo, come. Lilo, come.
Wait. Marla.
Stay.
Good girl.
Good. Now when she's about to get up and move again, just go ahead and reinforce. Okay, now just have her focus on you.
Marla.
Perfect. Good.
Good girl.
Good.
Good girl.
Okay, go ahead and reinforce the weight.
Wait.
Lilo.
There you go. So now she's actually holding on her own a little bit. So that's what I mean. So you want to spot her pretty much, but you want her to do 90% of the work. That 10% is like when she breaks early, that's when you're helping, but you don't hold her the whole time, right? You just wait. And then as soon as she complies, you release so she's actually waiting on her own. Go ahead and move over there.
Good girl, Lilo. Good girl. Good girl. Stay. Good girl. Look at me.
Marla.
Sit.
Good girl.
Good girl. Stay. Good girl.
Wait. Marla. Good girl. You sit. Good girl.
Good girl.
And then let's go ahead and either put her on her leash and move her further away. We want to do one more, show you another impulse control exercise for this little one.
Hey, you have some treats, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and sit. Go ahead and have her sit over here.
Oh, sit. On the couch or on the floor?
Either one. Alright. Ask her to wait.
Wait.
Show her a treat. Now put the treat on the table.
Wait.
As she starts to move, go ahead and reinforce it.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Then release.
Go. Treat. Right here. There you go.
Okay.
Girl.
Okay. Now do that a little bit closer, so have her maybe a little bit at the edge or down on the floor.
Okay. Sit. Come down. Come here. Sit.
Okay.
Wait. Come here. Sit. Wait. 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 Wait.
So you kind of see what I mean with the impulse control?
Come here. Sit.
You want her to really focus on
Wait.
you. Okay, if you see that she's
Wait.
focusing too much on the treat, get her attention back and reinforce the weight and then give her a treat.
Okay. Wait. Wait.
Go ahead and give her a treat for that. Yeah. Okay.
Marlo, sit. Good. Right here. Good girl.
Good.
Did you get it? No more. Down.
So go ahead and try that one more time.
Marlo, come here. Sit. Sit. Wait. 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 Wait.
Good. So whenever she controls herself, go ahead and give her another treat.
Right here.
Now this time, instead of just putting one there and having her wait, have her wait and keep stacking treats there.
Okay. Sit. Come here. Sit. Wait. Wait. Back up. Wait. 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 Wait.
Now take a couple steps back and have her come to you.
Come here. Sit. Good girl. Good girl.
Now when she gets interested in that again, or she sees them, try to redirect her and have her come to you instead of taking what she wants.
Marlo, come. Sit. No. Come here. Marlo. Come. Come. Sit. Good girl.
One probably got her.
Yeah. Marlo, come. Marlo, come. Sit. Sit.
The same thing. Let her see that you're adding the treats over there, and if she moves preemptively, ask her to wait, and then have her come to you over there.
Wait.
Hey.
Wait. Sit.
It's a lot harder without the spotter,
Yeah.
right?
Come here.
So,
Sit.
if at first, use the spotter to help you out initially, and then once she gets to that point, it shouldn't take too long, she's
Wait.
doing already pretty well. But
Wait.
that way she doesn't fail. Right?
Wait.
Good. We want her to see us putting the treats there and then redirecting ourselves. Okay?
Wait.
Okay. Now walk to your right a little, or walk to your left a little bit, and have her come to you.
Come. Marlo, come.
Good try. So you kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
Exercise, right? So the better that she gets at controlling herself from just doing whatever she wants and getting whatever she wants and listens to you, that's just developing that obedience, self-control,
Marlo, come.
and her ability to refocus on you even when she wants to do something else.
Okay.
So I would practice that, muzzle, engage, disengage, and especially for Banjo too, when he's out here interacting with us, if you see that these two are, playing and practicing, and you see that he's starting to get upset or anything, calm and comfort him down and redirect him to you.
Okay.
That's
Is
what-
it important to have him in a muzzle too?
just in case?
Okay.
Like I said, just because we want to have them kind of exposed to the situations where they can escalate as much as possible, because you want to get practice at that higher level.
Right.
Whenever you can't supervise them, then I would still separate them.
Right.
So that way you don't have any instances that could reverse all the training and stuff that you've been through.
Marla.
Very good. Perfect.
Wait.
Okay.
Good girl.
So you don't think it's something where like they just don't like each other? It's just Marlo doesn't know her boundaries.
Marlo doesn't know Lilo's boundaries. Lilo and Marlo can both escalate without neither of them de-escalating one another or listening to one another.
Marlo,
And
come.
then Banjo is just coming in because he feels unsure about a situation and is going to react off of that insecurity.
Stay.
Gentle.
So it's like it's just a combination of all the wrong factors, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
it's something that can be fixed.
Good girl.
Yeah.
it's can be fixed / avoided, kind of like an accident, because you kind of know their personalities.
Marlo, come.
You have to take that into consideration when you're having them out and engaging. That's all. Like whether or not you can fix that is just how much of the obedience, like when things start to get riled up, they stop and listen to you because the obedience is at that level, or their own self-control gets to that level.
Right.
Stay.
Okay. Wait. Wait. Ah. Wait. What the hell? Marlo. Marlo. Marlo.
Over there.
Come.
It'll take some work.
Yeah.
So like I said, especially with puppies, that impulse control and frustration and that energy and everything else is just something that you have to work with.
Wait.
Good girl.
Now while you still have them under control, go to your
Come here.
Up.
Sit.
Sit.
Good girl.
Stay.
And then as they go back to it, make sure you stop to redirect or just pick it up so that way they don't just get it.
Get off. Come here.
Good.
I can even tell the difference in just this. Carl, you gotta learn to be gentle. You got sharp teeth. Sit.
I'm out of treats.
Gentle.
Because what happens too is just like the fact that
Lilo.
this one is less engaged on the other one and more engaged with you,
Right.
then you can kind of easily give this one breaks just naturally too.
Right.
You know, because if this one is just constantly on this one wanting to play and stuff, and neither of them give themselves a break, that's how escalation can happen between friends as well.
Okay.
Like one pup just gets tired or cranky or done with it, and then they're trying to signal to the other pup that they're done, but the other pup doesn't listen.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Okay. Wait. Wait. Gentle. Good girl. Sit. Wait. Wait.
But I would definitely, like I said, remember to work with Banjo too, just because of the fact that, like, of what I've seen from him, his insecurities cause him to react, which is not good. You want him to react out of confidence, you want him to, not be afraid and then have to step in, because usually that's more of the fight or flight, which is probably why it's like so intense and like harder to disrupt and interrupt too.
Because
so that's why it's important.
With people he knows, he doesn't do that, obviously. We don't have too many people over that we don't know, so.
Yeah, it's understandable. But the good thing is, and that's why you want to continue to expose them to the situations as much as possible, because then he hears this one getting riled up, he sees the other one getting riled up, and he knows that either things will stop or you'll redirect.
Okay.
He doesn't have to do it.
Right.
You just have to show him that. Yeah.
So,
especially pups that feel the need to guard or protect.
right.
You want to show them that there's nothing to guard or protect.
So, like, when we do have like family or whoever come over, how like what's the best way to do like the walking in the door? So like my mother-in-law knows like when she walks in, just kind of walk through them and come in. But like obviously, if our grandparents come over, we don't want them to jump. You know, and not that they do come over, but
because you have 2 higher energy pups and 1 uncertain pup, I would definitely have them meet outside on a leash, go on a nice little walk with you. That way they can get that energy and excitement out one at a time without also escalating one another too.
okay.
Because this one was just barking because they couldn't get out to the, and also it started barking. She started barking because this one was barking.
Right.
And then this one got insecure because this one was barking. So like you end up with that cascading effect. So the best way to avoid it is to just have them all one at a time get to know the person. So that way when all 3 of them see the person, they're already familiar and comfortable with them and calmer too.
Okay.
That's the thing. As soon as like they kind of calm down, it didn't take Marlo very long. Didn't take this one very long. That one, it was a little iffy, but you can kind of see as soon as we started to control the situation, it was a lot easier for them. So that's what I mean. You have to just let them kind of get to know the person one at a time each, so that way they're not like amplifying each other's bad behaviors and insecurities.
Okay.
Marlo, come.
Because once you have that, then you seem to be pretty okay.
Yeah. Okay. So like, where do we go from here? Do you think we need to keep doing like training sessions, or do you think this is something that we can do without?
Oh, I feel like most people are able to do without. The part that really comes from experience is knowing when to like how and when to referee, when to comfort and calm down a situation, when to disrupt, make space for the situation. Knowing when they've actually shifted down and let them actually reinteract, whereas if they're still too hyped up or one of them is still unsure, then reintroducing them at the same time will kind of go right back to it, right?
Lilo. Lilo, look. Sit. Lilo, sit. Good girl. Okay.
So it just really all because I've been able to see pretty good progress just through the instructions. And I don't see any kind of lingering malice or anything like that or uneasiness between the pups, which is also another good sign. Usually it'd be a lot more touchy if like one was really kind of apprehensive of the other one, like if they walk into the room and then the other one kind of gets squeamish or something, then that's like that underlying fear is something that would be harder to work through. But it just seems like the escalation just from a puppy being a puppy and this one playing, being verbal, and this one not sure of the situation. You know, to get to that point where they're correcting, if the other one's not listening, you have a very slim window of opportunity to disrupt and separate.
Because what I've kind of been doing with them is like, I'll let Lilo correct once, and if Marlo doesn't listen for that second time, then I'll put her in her crate for 5 minutes and bring her back out.
Don't do it for as long. Maybe momentary or just like for a second. What ends up happening is, especially with like crate timeouts, I find a lot of people have problems with is they get in there for so long that they end up forgetting why they were there.
Right. Okay.
And so you almost want them to kind of go back to the situation again after that pause. Let it happen, pause it again, let it happen, pause it again. So that way they can bridge that connection between, oh, I didn't stop when she said, that's why this happened. Whereas if you take too long of a pause, they forget what caused that correction.
So more of like a 10-second and then bring them back out. Okay.
And that's another reason why you'll want the muzzle, because as the situation tends to get more intense because the other one's not listening, you'll have a higher chance of failure until somebody gets better at something. Either
Okay.
you'll get better at disrupting and redirecting, they'll get better at listening, or to them or to yourself,
Okay.
or they'll just be so comfortable with the situation that he's like, oh, they're just going at it again, nothing bad's gonna happen, he just feels comfortable.
Okay.
You know, one of those things are gonna happen, and the one thing that you don't want to happen is the escalation on their own without any safety.
Okay.
So it's gonna definitely be up to you guys. You said I would definitely try out everything that I've suggested first, especially with the muzzles and the social interactions with them. Because this one's a puppy, you still have plenty of room to grow.
Right.
And with that, like, really defining that patience thing. Like little things like how, you know, this one was on the table and he pushed them off. So instead of physically moving the dog off, telling them and having them do it themselves.
Okay.
You know, because the more that we do for them, like if we're pulling them away from something, right? They're not doing it themselves. If you drop something on the ground, you say leave it, and you're still pulling towards it, you have to like leave it. You know, they're not actually learning that self-control and that obedience and stuff. So it'll be hard, and you have to kind of course find the right balance between the times. Just try to keep in the back of your head the less that I do, the more that they have to do. And the more that especially the younger pups have to do, the faster and better that they'll develop. Because they're not being micromanaged. They have to kind of do things on their own accord. So that was great, right? Just a brief interaction, say hi, nothing, and then I would just even treat that. Staying nice and calm, and then de-escalating or separating on their own is really good. So keep an eye out for behaviors and times like that too.
Perfect. We comfortable now? You know, high energy. We like new people. Yeah. Well, hopefully they sleep well after this. It's a lot of work for them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep well.
It's usually the good part about the sessions. It's like not only sometimes is it like physically demanding, but more so is like it's mentally demanding.
Yeah.
And now at this point, since everybody's downshifted and things are calmer and there's no like intensity of barking or uncertainty that could trigger Banjo, now would be a good time to have Banjo in. I'm about to head out, I think, but I just mean for like future, for their future sessions, you'll want them to be warmed up first, and then have him there, because if he's there when things are already tense, you kind of run that risk of making his anxiety worse as opposed to better, and that's just that's a fine line that you'll have to just pay attention to him too. Like is this situation making him more tense, more upset, or is he getting used to it? And that's something that I can't just explain to you. You have to just be there and be observant for. And you know, breaks is better than making things worse. But you want to just try to keep things nice and calm, consistent, and positive. So like if everybody's just hanging out and relaxing and like normal, then that's great.
Cool. Good job, girls. Good job.
You have any other questions or anything? You can always text me too if something else comes up.
Do you have any questions? No, I mean, this was really informative. It makes me feel better knowing that it's like them needing to learn boundaries with each other, and not that like they hate each other and I need to rehome one of them.
Right. Yeah. It's a pretty common puppy thing. You know, to annoy siblings, because I get puppies all the time that annoy my older pups. The only difference is my older pups now have been through like hundreds of dogs, so they know how to correct, and like when the other pup isn't listening and they've already given their corrections, they know they don't have to do anything else but either move away because I'll take care of the situation. And that's what you kind of need for Banjo. Is like you need him to have that confidence of, you know, you guys are going to take care of it. So he doesn't feel the need to take care of it. That's just something that you have to, you know, literally show him time and time again, because we can't really explain that to a pup. You know?
Last last question. So obviously, like we've already decided if we're over at his mother's house, like we're not gonna leave him outside because then we're not here. But is it okay to like put all three of them outside and us still be in the house, but like monitoring them out there, or should we be standing outside with them?
I would be standing outside with them. Most of the time, anyways, I always recommend to all my clients that they're always just outside with their pups supervising them. I know sometimes, it's really easy to kind of let them out to go potty and, get ready for work or something yourself. But those moments that are going unsupervised, you don't know if there's like a rabbit in the yard that's like running through that could cause like a really uproar of energy in situations.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Or, they start digging or something and you're not there to correct them right away, so then they get that into that bad habit. There's just a lot of reasons why you always want to supervise your pups when they're outside. At least until that point where they'll be okay, and because we don't know yet that they're going to be okay, I would just hold off on it. Or if you wanted to wean into it later on, there's plenty of like cheap cameras and stuff.
We have cameras out there right now, so
But I would just be cautious with that because a lot of times you'll be able to see them, but if you're all the way in the bathroom or something like that, then your time to react is not going to make a difference anyway. So it's almost like you're not there supervising them.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
This was definitely very, very helpful, and it gives us. She's saying, "You said Lilo, you're farting. Gross. It's a good thing you have a mask on because it's gonna smell real bad."
Oh, baby.
But it definitely makes me feel better too, knowing that like we can get a lot of work done, especially before I leave at the end of the month, so that his mom feels comfortable with it too. So, okay.
And because I don't know how they will just interact without the third, causing any escalations, that's something that you'll want to monitor as well. And you'll just have to referee that pretty much just like you referee this, but you said, the stakes are definitely going to be higher because they're bigger and they're both stronger.
Right.
So, but it's the same thought process and everything.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. And I'll upload this for you.
Okay.